Senator, explain your decision to vote for.
First of all, I saw that Senator Collins, out of respect, I wanted to watch her give hers, and she asked to do that. And I knew when I saw she was going to do that, I said, fine, I watched it. And then I made my decision, and I gave my reasons for my decision. Ours went out, and we wanted to make sure.
You can listen to the people here. Are you concerned about...
Very much concerned, basically, with the sexual abuse that people have had to endure, and very much concerned that we have to do something as a country. But I had to deal with the facts I had in front of me.
Do you believe the allegation?
Are you willing to be the 50th vote for Judge Kavanaugh?
I just, I never thought of it basically 50, 51, 52, whatever would have happened. I says, I had to do and vote on the facts I had in front of me. If I'd have been in that position, I would have liked to have brought this place back to normal procedure if I'd have had that opportunity to a 60-vote threshold.
But why did you wait? Why did you wait for Collins to make her announcement before you made your announcement?
I think that was basically what was. I saw her announcement that she was going to say that she would do that.
But did you follow her? Did you decide to vote that way because she voted yes?
Oh, no. I think everyone labored with this. Everybody labored with this decision. And we all did our own. We done due diligence. I was all morning long. Everything.
Senator Murkowski not voting with her party affect your decision at all? How does Senator Murkowski voting no affect your decision at all, creating it bipartisan on both sides?
Senator Murkowski is a very, 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 very dear friend of mine. Very dear friend of mine. And she did everything, crossed every T, dotted every I. She went through the same process we all did. She came to a different conclusion. I came to my conclusion really this morning when I went through another hour and a half.
Do you believe the allegations?
Do you believe Dr. Ford?
I believe Dr. Ford. Something happened to Dr. Ford. I don't believe that the facts showed that it was Brett Kavanaugh, but I believe something happened.
You think it was someone else who did it?
I think something happened to her. There was no way at all that we could see.
Senator, what do you say to women who watch this process unfold, heard Dr. Ford's story, and feel like Judge Kavanaugh is getting confirmed anyway, even though they've stepped forward, and that the Senate is essentially slapping
I've had people all over West Virginia come forward, and I have the greatest, just the respect, but also just basically the hurt that people have, the trauma they've gone through, and I don't know, I have empathy and sympathy, and I'll do anything I can to make sure that they are heard, to make sure this doesn't continue.
Do you think this was an adequate FBI investigation into the Kavanaugh?
I can only have what's in front of me. That's all I have in front of me.
Based on what you've seen, based on what...
Interviewed for the FBI investigation?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Do you think there should have been more witnesses interviewed for the FBI investigation?
I think that, there's always more that could have been done, I guess, if people are looking at it. I looked at what was in front of me, and I had to make a decision.
But based on what you've seen, was that a thorough investigation by the FBI?
It was, from my standpoint, it was thorough from what I saw. The people that I was concerned about, how they said and what they said and how they did it, I did.
Senator, do you think that there's still a place in the Democratic Party for you after this?
Whoa.
I'm just a West Virginian. I'm just a good old West Virginian.
But you're up for re-election in a difficult race. Are you concerned the base is going to revolt?
I didn't look at this from a political standpoint. I didn't do that.
Are you concerned with Kavanaugh's temperament at all? I know some Democrats have expressed concern with Kavanaugh's temperament and drinking.
The Thursday bothered me. The Thursday bothered me a lot. But I saw that basically a different side.
Shame on you! 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 Shame on you!
Folks, everybody right here! Stop right now!
Are you going to let our democracy die? Are you going to let our democracy die? What is wrong with you? Joe Manchin!
Halls of the United States Senate, Senator Joe Manchin, following Susan Collins. She's a Republican. He's a Democrat. He announces he will vote to confirm Judge Kavanaugh to the United States Supreme Court. So for all practical purposes, unless there's some huge surprise overnight, it looks like he's going to be on the United States Supreme Court.
It does. Also, can I just say, talk about a tale of two announcements. You had Susan Collins speaking at length on the Senate floor in a very formal way, and then Joe Manchin barely heard over the shouts of protesters at his office because he came out and did a more impromptu discussion with reporters explaining his vote, barely heard over people yelling, shame, shame, shame. And I think this is a big moment for the president. This is a critical moment for the country, given not just this court, but the seat on this court and what this all means. But it's already instantly going to be looked at through the lens of what's happening in less than 5 weeks, which is the midterm elections. And what you heard and saw in and around Joe Manchin's office, people protesting him. And
you heard them screaming, "Shame on you!
Shame on you!" Because he is a Democrat who is voting for a Republican nominee. He is a Democrat from a state where the president is probably the most popular. He's gone there to more than any other state, I think 7 times, to campaign, he the president, and there's a reason for that. But that is just, we've seen the protests, we've seen the energy, we've heard it and felt it, and it's hard to imagine, but I think it's only going to escalate right now.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more about the midterm moment, the timing of this right now. Every Republican strategist you've spoken to, I've spoken to, I'm sure, have, for the last year and a half, they kept saying, you know, the one thing that really concerns me is complacency on the Republican side, which happens when you have power. When you have all the levers of power, that happens electorally to both parties. And it's been such a concern for the Republicans this cycle, Wolf, and they just got such a boost in the arm today. That's the one side, that they're really jazzed up about this, and that helps elevate them, especially in those red states where these Democrats are running for re-election in the Senate. But we also know that this plays into the unbelievable energy we've seen on the Democratic side this entire Trump era. Democratic turnout, breaking records, special elections, and in the House map, where white college-educated women and suburbanites dominate the landscape. If the Republicans are to maintain control of the House, they need to keep those districts, and this plays directly against them on that. 2 different worlds, but it is going to have midterm impact.
And you know, Dana, 51 senators, 50 Republicans, 1 Democrat, Joe Manchin, will vote in favor tomorrow when the final vote comes on the Senate floor. 48 Democrats and 1 Republican, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, will vote against confirmation, 51-49. He will be on the United States Supreme Court.
Yeah, and as Ariane was saying, this could presage a sea change in the court. And maybe Ariane can help us what's on the docket. I was reading that they've kept it kind of non-controversial
absolutely, because they know if they have this 8-member court so far, they don't want to do too much. And there's no blockbuster cases on the docket right now, but in the wings there are a lot at the lower courts. DACA, Affordable Care Act, LGBT rights, abortion restrictions, those are all percolating through the court, and they're in some way, either a petition or emergency motion will hit this court with 9 members.
And if I could just talk to David's point, maybe, Mark, you know a lot about this. I mean, I think the question really is whether the Republicans can get anywhere near parity to Democratic enthusiasm, because Democratic enthusiasm is so huge. And it may be that it'll help them in the Senate, and they could keep the Senate, but still lose the House.
There's no doubt that the left is energized for this. And to David's point, I'm not sure that this nomination could have more further energized the left than already were. But I really do believe that Chuck Schumer overplayed his hand in a way that's going to come back to hurt him. I think he's jeopardized Heitkamp. I think he's potentially jeopardized Donnelly, potentially jeopardized McCaskill, and potentially jeopardized Manchin, because this is something that could have been confirmed a while back. He's protracted intentionally to try to make this, he thought, a win for himself politically, and I think it's backfired.
Manchin voted for Kavanaugh and followed his state's wishes. I mean, Trump won by how much?
All the polling data that I've seen has showed Manchin significantly ahead of Morrissey throughout this. Today was the first time I saw numbers that had Morrissey ahead.
So when does the president come out and gloat? Does he wait till the final vote tomorrow, or will we see him start speaking out more aggressively tonight? You worked with it. You worked for him for a long time.
I think it is fair to say this is a substantial
I know, but
victory.
when do you think he will start talking about this?
I would imagine
because he's been very silent.
In light of Susan Collins' remarks, I think we know where this is
and Joe
going
Manchin's
now.
remarks.
Yes, so I would imagine.
So you think he'll make a statement? When will he address the nation?
I don't know. Maybe I would hope for tomorrow.
After the final vote. Yeah. At that point, he goes to the Oval Office and addresses the nation. So it will be a dramatic moment for the president.
Yeah, I mean, and not to get too corny, and you're right, it's a victory lap, a deserved victory lap, because he won the presidency and he got to pick a Supreme Court nominee because Justice Kennedy said he was going to retire, and it looks like his guy is going to get on. But not to get too corny, but one of the things that Senator Collins said is, can we get back to the place where there actually are bipartisan votes for Supreme Court justices? I mean, I don't know.
I think we're a long way from that. I really do. I mean, obviously, we all know the process started to fall apart a little bit with Bork. But we also know that someone like Lindsey Graham, who has been adamant about the politics of this and adamant about Judge Kavanaugh, he voted for Sotomayor and Kagan.
And Ruth Bader Ginsburg had 96 votes.
And Ruth, right, if she got 96 votes. But we also know that Merrick Garland was never even considered because of the politics of all of this. So I don't know how you get back there unless you have a president who is bipartisan or independent.